What BTS said about Jungkook. Part 4. Jimin and J-Hope. When people talk about Jungkook's strength, they often see the discipline, the perfection, the unstoppable drive. But the brothers who have walked beside him, Jimin and J-Hope, know that behind that strength is a soft heart, shaped quietly by love, protected by brotherhood, and encouraged by warmth that never left his side. Jimin once said in Break the Silence, "Jungkook tries so hard in everything he does." It sounded simple, almost casual. But to Jimin, it carried years of late nights, years of watching a young boy push himself beyond what anyone expected. From the earliest days, Jimin looked after Jungkook like a real older brother. He once shared on Weverse Live that he used to stay awake late at night, just to make sure Jungkook returned safely from practice. He was just a kid back then, Jimin said, but even then, you could feel he had something special. Back then, Jungkook did not talk much about how he felt. Jimin saw everything anyway. In the way Jungkook practiced until his body hurt, in the way he always wanted to do better, in the way he could not rest until he felt he had given everything he had. Jimin watched him grow from a quiet trainee into an artist who could stand alone on his own stage. And when Jungkook began as a soloist, Jimin would sit silently in the audience, eyes shining with pride. When people talk about Jungkook's talent so easily, the vocals, the precision, the way he owns the stage. But the brothers who lived beside him the longest, they saw something different, something heavier, something the cameras don't always capture. In Burn the Stage 2018, Jungkook pushed through a performance, even when he was barely standing backstage. No dramatic angle, no spotlight. Just a teenager gasping for air, steadying himself on a wall, and then walking back onto the stage, because he didn't want to let anyone down. It was one of those moments where you realize his strength didn't come from confidence. It came from carrying expectations far beyond his age. Jimin talked about this in Festa 2020. He said Jungkook is someone who always tries to give more than he receives. Someone who feels responsible even when he shouldn't. Someone who blames himself first, even when no one asked him to. Jimin didn't say it dramatically. He said it like someone who'd watched the youngest grow every single day, who'd seen him practice until everyone else had gone home, who understood the way Jungkook pushes himself, because he wants everyone to be proud of him. And J-Hope, in Break the Silence 2020, he described Jungkook as a pillar, someone whose growth pushed the whole team forward, someone who absorbed pressure quietly and turned it into hard work. J-Hope said he'd seen how much Jungkook tried to improve himself, how he never stopped rehearsing, how he carried the responsibility of being the youngest while trying to live up to the expectations placed on him. It wasn't praise, it was observation, the kind that comes from sharing stages, rooms, and years. J-Hope once said in Break the Silence, Jungkook is someone who gives his all to everything. He never does things halfway. He smiled when he said it, but it wasn't just admiration, it was pride, because he had seen Jungkook turn exhaustion into excellence, again and again. During their trainee days, when Jungkook stayed behind after everyone left, J-Hope would sit quietly in the corner of the practice room, saying nothing, correcting nothing, just being there, the kind of presence that tells you you're not alone. And that was the way Hoseok loved, silently, steadily, without asking for anything in return. In a 2019 Festa video, J-Hope mentioned that Jungkook reminded him of his younger self, a kid who kept smiling even when tired, who hid his pain so others wouldn't worry. He said, "Sometimes I wish Jungkook would rest, but that's just how he loves, through effort." Jimin is often called Jungkook the most reliable person, someone who moves forward even when nobody asks, someone who quietly holds everyone together. And during the behind the scenes of Yet to Come, Jimin hugged him softly and whispered, "You always make us proud, you know that." Jungkook just laughed, but the look in his eyes showed how much those words meant. Both Jimin and J-Hope knew the truth. Jungkook didn't shine because he wanted to be the best. He shined because he was surrounded by people who loved him into becoming someone extraordinary. To them, Jungkook was never just the youngest, never just the main vocalist, never just a star. He was the boy they practiced with in empty studios, the friend who laughed with them through exhaustion, the brother who kept showing up, no matter how heavy the world felt. That's the part Jimin and J-Hope saw, not the spotlight. Also, not the myth, but the boy who grew up under pressure and kept choosing effort over fear. And maybe that's why his story hit so deeply. Because when the people closest to him describe him, they don't talk about the legend. They talk about the sincerity, the responsibility, and the quiet heart behind the noise.